This is Don't Panic, episode number 197, recorded March 26th, 2018. Battle for the Classroom. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on, you know it, gadgets, the internet, and you. I'm Shaun Jennings, joined as always by our two A students, a couple of teachers' pets, our very own Dan Miller and Colby Rabideau.
Yo.
Were you guys teachers' pets back in your school days? What would your teachers have said about you?
I think it went. I'll let Colby go first.
I was gonna say he's got nice hair, but he's an asshole.
So big fans of the hair.
I would say that in the beginning I was a teacher's pet, and then the middle I wasn't, and then towards the end I became a teacher's pet again.
Oh, so you had some bad boy days.
I just had some not caring days.
Slacker time.
Yeah, I wasn't going to put in the work to become the teacher's pet, because that is a lot of work.
I get that.
Right?
Yeah. I think I was a lovable shit, I think was what they would call me, where like they knew I was terrible and was sneaky and was always after something.
Sneaky?
Oh yeah, no, I pulled every trick in the book. I never did anything. I was like a casual suck up, you know, not like really in your face about it, but at the same time I got away with so much because there were other kids doing much worse things. So I think they would say, yeah, no, he was kind of an asshole, but you know, he was kind of likable too.
Right,
which
within
is true
acceptable parameters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how most people describe me.
I was like, I feel like in subjects that I really liked, this is still true to this day. This has never changed about me. Like, if I'm really interested in something, I'll spend like too much time on it. But if it's like something I don't want to do, I hate it, and I'll put in the absolute bare minimum and hate every second of putting in that bare minimum. But alas.
Oh no, I pulled every, you know, because I had a lot of old lady quote unquote teachers, and I would always be like, no, you definitely lost the paper I handed in, and they'd be like, okay, and then they would just like, I would wheel and deal and be like, look, I don't want to get anyone in trouble because you lost my paper, so if we just agree to give me a B, we'll just say you had it, and they would be
gentleman's B.
Oh no, I pulled every
oh my god,
every sneaky deal I possibly could to, you know, I would like. They'd leave the stack. I shouldn't admit all this. They would leave like stacks of papers on their desk to correct, like 2 months after it was due, and I would just slip my paper into the pile and all kinds of shit like that. I was terrible. Shame on me. Sorry, Mom.
Shaun, I can't even.
No.
Can't even.
I know. Good thing I turned my life around before I got off the straight and narrow.
Thank goodness. Now you're here. Putting in the honest day's work, making a living.
Yep.
You know, you're not a millionaire, but it's honest work.
You know, someone once called me,
if you can get it.
Not a joke, the dictionary definition of straight edge. And I said, okay, I'll take it. I'm down with that. You call me much worse.
It's true.
I'm as mild as they come.
That is true.
But anyway, how are you two rock and rollers doing? Living life on the edge.
Oh my god!
Whoa.
I came home today and they took off the like inner layer of plastic on my apartment. I think it's happening. There's still an outer layer of plastic that is blocking the sunlight from me, but I think this is like a good sign.
So you just now see scaffolding.
Right. Scaffolding and the plastic on the outside of the scaffolding.
Does more light get in, or do you not know yet?
It's hard to say. It almost felt like it did, but it was like 6 o'clock today when I was here. So when I was here and the sun was still up. So I don't know.
Maybe it was the glory, like the glow. You were sort of infatuated.
I was just too excited. I could see 2 feet farther than I could see before. It felt like I don't know, an expanse.
The expanse.
the final frontier
outside of Colby's
outside
window.
of my apartment. Yeah, I'm really excited. I hope I can't. Oh my god, It's like this is like the worst time of year anyways, like March to February. I'm my worst self in March to February. And like adding on top of that, my apartment being closed off from the light, and I haven't been able to open the windows because it's so dusty out there because they're doing like masonry. It's like if you open the windows, just dust, like cement dust pours in.
Are you typically not a winter person, or you just get tired of winter?
I like the beginning of winter, but the end of winter, right? When winter feels like it should be over, but it's not yet, aka March. That's when I start to lose it. Like I feel like I'm totally fine with like pre-January winter. Even January is okay, but like it starts to go downhill in February. It's when I start.
This is the first year
so.
I've gotten fed up with winter. I'm done.
What did it for you?
Getting sick 2 times and it being still cold in March.
That's
and the snow.
Oh yeah.
The snow is fine. Actually, it's just the cold. If the snow actually makes it better, I would rather have cold snow than no snow and it be cold.
Yeah, it's kind of bugged me because at least the sun's been out a little bit and it's still really cold, which doesn't make any sense to me. That's where it starts to get annoying. But I'm more of a, it's funny too that you mentioned that. This time of year actually doesn't kill me as much. I find the fall to be much worse than the spring. Because at this point, I've already been doing 3 months of winter. I'm thicking it. I'm thicking it. So I just ride it out at this point. But going into it, where it starts to get dark and it starts to get cold, then I start to get bummed out. So, but I agree. March is a tough month because there are no real holidays. It's a long month, even calendar-wise. It ends up being like 5 weeks long, just in terms of on paper.
Right.
It's a rough month.
Right. Ugh, March.
But it's almost over.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
It's going to be April soon.
Man, April, what a slightly better month.
An incremental improvement.
It is. And I have a feeling May might be even a little better.
I think you're right about that.
Have you guys started thinking up any big summer plans?
Yes.
Oh, I know that look on Dan's face.
No, it's funny because I was literally just looking at summer plans before we were going on the air. I'm going to Portland and Seattle and Vancouver in June.
Wow.
Portland, Maine or Portland, Oregon?
Portland, Oregon.
I like to imagine, though, he goes to Portland, Maine, and then to Seattle and to Vancouver.
Just really like Portland, Maine.
Like, I guess I could go to the other Portland while I'm there.
I wonder how many other Portlands there are in the country. You could do a Portland vacation.
I imagine several.
Hit all of them.
I met someone in Ireland who, and the Europeans have these crazy long summer vacations. For their summer vacation, they went to every place in the United States named Dublin.
Oh, I bet there are a lot.
Yeah, there are at least 8, and they're not nearby one another. Otherwise, that would be really confusing. So yeah, we could probably do that for Portland. I was just looking at tickets to a concert in Nantucket, and I didn't know where Nantucket was. Now I do.
It's like the Cape or something, right? That's Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's even further east than Martha's Vineyard. And
Nantucket's an island.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
I didn't know that. I would have said the same thing as you, Colby. I had no idea what Nantucket was.
I know it's like Massachusetts ocean shit. That's all I know.
That's what the locals call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What concert is that?
I just sent you a link to their video, Colby.
I saw the link. I didn't have a chance
to prime your pump. See if I can get you hooked on something else.
I mean, you have had success before in the past, so.
The key I found, I like to suggest things to people, and I take great pride in suggesting things at a very low hit rate, or rather, a very low miss rate. But it takes a lot of work to keep that up.
Mm-hmm.
And
to keep up your low miss rate.
Right, and it takes a lot of restraint.
Yeah, you're not that guy who's like, you gotta see this YouTube video, it's so funny. You're a tastemaker.
For very small amounts of
A
people.
select group of people.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, I look forward to checking that out. I'm going to Stockholm in June for work,
Oh, that's
Lovely.
awesome.
but I don't know, might do something else since I'm flying over there on someone else's dollar. Seems like the right thing to do. But we'll see.
Yeah, what are you
That
thinking?
is- I have no idea. I have no idea. I only in like the last, I guess 2 weeks maybe, found out that I was going to the Stockholm in June and not at a different time. So,
Great.
Well, they've
Ben,
got. I mean, that's right near the beach, isn't it?
Sort of. So I don't really know. I've been told that area of Sweden is like an archipelago. Like there is water, but it's not like on the ocean exactly. There's like a butt ton of islands.
It's the Baltic Sea, which is kind of like an ocean,
Oh, is it? See,
Isn't it?
you know more than me, Sean.
isn't it?
Sean's time spent in the Netherlands.
Which is kind of like,
That's
which is
true.
basically like Sweden, except not at all. No, I cheated and looked at Google Maps. I couldn't told you where it was. Are you kidding me? No, absolutely not. No, but I did go to a beach when I was in the Netherlands, and it was very nice. But they're not even near each other at all. So, you know, your results may vary. Isn't that where Lego's from? You should go see where they make the Legos. Isn't that Sweden?
Oh.
Sweden?
Legos from Denmark.
That's what-
Again, same thing.
Close.
It's all.
I feel like
close.
Denmark is closer than the Netherlands.
I apologize to all of our fans in the Nordic.
Yeah, I'm jealous, Colby. Maybe I'll meet you there. I can't though.
Maybe I'll meet you there. I
Yeah.
won't, but
It's so tempting. I really want to.
I think that's sufficient. In lieu of you actually meeting me there, really wanting to. Makes
Yeah.
it right.
It'll have to. You go to Trondheim, way up
Of
north.
course.
I don't know.
I look forward to hopefully going back there in the winter sometime because apparently some people that I work with were there in the last couple of weeks, and apparently they don't like shovel the sidewalks really. They like they don't and they don't use salt or anything. What they do is like they sort of shovel a path in the snow and then they put down like gravel to make like a new sidewalk just on top of the snow,
Neat.
and they just leave it. And I really want to see what I like. I've had it like described to me with words, but I'd like to see that in action. It sounds cool.
You got to bring some of those ideas back to Boston. You know, introduce it to
Right?
the city. They could use it.
Indeed.
Well, that's exciting.
Indeed. Yeah, it should be cool. Go. I don't know what you do in Sweden.
Eat fish, I'm sure.
Yeah. The only thing I've been told I have to do there is there's a museum with a boat. That it was like a boat that sank in the harbor or something, and then they apparently like they dragged it up and like built a museum around it, and it's supposed to be really cool.
Very nice. Wow, we got a couple world travelers here.
Indeed. What about you, Sean?
No, I don't have any plans. No, I don't have any plans.
You gonna go to Amish country again?
I would love to. Maybe. I thought about it. So I want to do something, but I'm far too lazy to actually get around to booking it. Like, that's the hard part. And so I was looking the other day at some stuff, but I don't think I'll ever get around to actually doing it. I haven't had a, like, personal vacation in, like, 7 years, so...
It's a long time.
Yeah, I'm not you know me, I'm not a big travel guy or vacation. But like my idea of a vacation would probably be finding a cabin remotely in the woods and then just going there by myself without a phone or a computer or a television and just read a book and do Sudoku.
That sounds
for a
pretty
couple
good.
days. Maybe I will do that. I don't know. I have come to the realization that I'm really getting sick of looking at screens all the time, which is sad because that's the only skill I have in life. So it's really a catch-22 at this point. Because
You need to reinvent yourself.
maybe. What Dan? What do you think I could do that doesn't involve screens? You've known me for many years.
I think you could be a museum guide.
Okay, sure, that sounds fun. I could do,
No
but you got to
screens.
know a lot about museum
You
stuff.
can learn it on the job.
You think I just start like one day? This is Shaun. He's training, so go easy on him, and I just have to like figure out the stuff. I think this is a boat. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. I
It
don't.
looks like a boat,
I mean,
right?
it's old. It's really old. I mean, it's it's from here or not. Yeah. No, that's a good idea.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
One of those a hot dog salesman at a baseball stadium.
No, I don't. You know what? I don't really have the strength to carry those big, heavy boxes around. That I have a physical
That's
limitation.
why you've got the harness.
I don't. I'm very concerned about the sort of OSHA safety.
You could. A lot of those guys do it. They put it on their head. You could do that. It's.
Have you seen my head?
protects
It's
your back.
very soft. It's very soft. It's very soft. But I like that we're thinking. I mean, I think as a crazy person, I'd make a great psychologist. Maybe. Takes one to know one.
That could be cool.
That's an option.
I hear some education is required to do that sort of thing.
That's the problem with most jobs is they require education and experience.
You could be like a palm reader or something. That's like
Okay, I could. Yeah, that counts. Maybe it requires screens, but I could become a professional Fiverr on Fiverr
that's true.
and offer various skills for $5.
Yes.
And just try and do it in mass.
What do you think is the most lucrative Fiverr task that you can do?
I was going to have an inappropriate answer to that, so I won't say it. But there are certain things people do on webcams that are very lucrative, but I'm not going to do that.
That's not a category.
No, what I was asking, like, things you would do for $5, right? Like, what is it? What kind of things could you do for $5 that are like the least effort to most like best margins, like the bank money for your time?
Probably voiceover work. I think would be probably something I could, but like the low, like not
Look,
like
here
movies.
you go.
Low
I
rent
will
stuff.
promote and advertise your podcast.
Yeah, I'll tweet for
Level
you.
2 seller from Bangladesh, $5.
I mean, I'm paid a lot more than $5 to tweet now, so why not do it for $5? Our chat
Right.
room says I should be a pro Twitcher. I don't know what that means, but maybe.
That's when you've looked at a screen song, you just start twitching.
Well, I was about to say that kind of defeats the purpose of not looking at a screen to be a professional screen
that
looker
would be
at her.
impressive, though. If you could be a professional Twitch streamer and not look at a screen at all.
Well, then at that point you're just like a life caster, right? Where you're just like broadcasting non-computer stuff.
Yeah, here's what you should do. Here's what
Yeah.
you should do. Broadcast yourself living in a cabin reading a book in the middle of nowhere with no other visible technology except the camera itself.
That sounds like I'd make so much money doing that.
I bet with some luck that could hit it really big for a couple days.
Actually, if I were better at cooking, I would love to do a cooking show from my house.
Yeah, I think you could do that.
That would
You
be
see,
fun.
you are a good speaker, so that's why I'm going after these like museum tour guide.
guides. Yeah.
Yeah, I think cooking show host is a great one because here's the thing though with the cooking show host, you don't actually have to be good at cooking
Right.
as
True,
long
you
as
just
you
gotta
have
get those
someone with you
guests.
who is
Yeah,
good
you have the
at cooking.
team, and you put in the raw chicken, and then you pull out the already cooked
Right.
one. A little bit of TV magic. Yeah.
Exactly.
The sparkles across the screen.
Yes.
Well, you guys have given me so much to think about, and I appreciate it. Thanks to you guys and everyone watching
You're here
live
for it,
with
Shaun.
these great tips, because I'm really going to move my life forward. For now, I will continue to write tweets, but until then, we will continue on. Maybe we'll pivot a little bit to some tech news. How's that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Maybe I could read tech news for a living. I don't know. Let's find out right now. We've got a lot of stories here in the rundown. Gentlemen, from some of the biggest players in tech, any particular story you guys want to start with?
Let's start with Goober.
Yes, Goober. Digga follow-up from last week. We talked about Uber's self-driving car accident in Arizona. A woman killed when struck by a self-driving car. And there's a little bit more research that's gone into this. Turns out Uber, not super great at the self-driving car stuff. A lot of information. You remember that big lawsuit, Waymo versus Uber? A lot of documents came out in the process of that lawsuit. Turns out that as a point of comparison, Waymo, which is Google's self-driving car project, said in tests in California last year, its cars went an average of nearly 5,600 miles before the driver had to take control to steer out of trouble. Okay, 5,600 miles. Uber, on the other hand, was struggling to meet a target of 13 miles per intervention in Arizona, according to 100 pages of company documents obtained by the New York Times. There are other self-driving car companies with much larger numbers as well. There was also pressure to live up to the goal to offer a driverless car service by the end of the year and impress top executives. Apparently, I'm scrolling through. New York Times did a really great article on this, as they are ones to do.
That's disappointing to hear, but I guess not surprising. It is Uber after all.
Yes. No, I'm sorry. This New York Times article has a lot more words in it than our usual Verge articles, so it's taking me a bit longer to scan through it. You'll have to.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear that they felt this kind of pressure. I'm not surprised that they were being pressured, but the impression I had gotten from Uber's self-driving car people is that they were a separate group from like the rest of the business, and not tied into a lot of the crazy political stuff that Twitter's doing on the local level. So I thought that they might be, different.
Yeah, and I mean, there are additional issues with it as well. Uber had a dual operator, so they would have two humans in the car at a time. They moved to a single operator. Some employees expressed safety concerns, worried that driving solo would make it harder to remain alert during hours of monotonous driving. They also developed an app mounted on an iPad in the car's middle console for drivers to alert engineers to problems, and they could use the app anytime without shifting the car out of autonomous mode, which means their hands weren't near the wheel in the event of an accident. Waymo, as a point of comparison, has a button on the steering wheel for drivers to create an audio explanation. There have also been Uber drivers fired for falling asleep at the wheel. One was air drumming as the autonomous car drove through an intersection. And other such issues. So clearly Uber had their pedal, to use a car term, the pedal to the metal on this project, and trying desperately to push it forward and hit very aggressive goals.
Here's the thing with the driver assist, though. The better it works, the less likely the driver assist is going to be able to intervene, because they're not going to be paying attention. Right. They'll be complacent.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. That's true.
So I don't know that I blame them.
No, and I think the sort of overwhelming articles I've read on this is that even with all this sketchy Uber stuff, it's still likely this woman would have gotten hit by a regular car. I mean, it's not... It's still early in the investigation, but it still seems as though it's not necessarily the self-driving car's fault. However, there are still issues with the way Uber is going about their business.
Well, I think what the promise of the self-driving car is that it would be more safe than a human driver in these sorts of situations. Theory. Right. So what I would love to know is why it couldn't, why it fell into the same trap that a human would fall into.
Sure. I mean, I agree with that theory. Of course, I would also argue no vehicle can be 100% safe. There will be situations. The car was going the speed limit. I guess the real question will be, could it detect this woman in time to have stopped the vehicle? And if it didn't, why didn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So.
Sigh.
Yep. So there you go. Keep an eye out for Uber self-driving cars and don't walk in front of them. As of this moment, Uber has paused all tests nationwide. Toyota as well paused their self-driving car initiative. But other companies like Waymo continue to test in limited situations at the moment.
Interesting.
So we'll see if and when they pick that back up. I'm sure they will at some point.
Yes. Did their new CEO have anything to say about this?
Their new CEO was bummed about it.
Sure. Okay.
But no, I mean, part of it, they said here, well, an Uber spokesman, safety is our primary concern every step of the way. We're heartbroken by what happened last week. That sort of, with autonomy, the edge cases kill you. So you've got to build out for all edge cases, which makes it a very difficult problem. So.
Yep.
It's interesting. I like this paragraph from the article about their new CEO was expected to visit Arizona in April, and leaders of the company's development group in the Phoenix area wanted to give him a glitch-free ride in an autonomous car. The trip was called Milestone 1 Confidence. So, ironically, did not happen.
Right.
And will not at this point.
Mm-mm.
All right.
I feel like it's pretty unfortunate to be the first one that this happens to.
Yes, not a good distinction.
Nope, it was going to be somebody. It wasn't an if, it was a when.
Yep. Also, it sucks to be the first company that has this happen. It could have been any of these companies.
It could have been, but it is interesting that it was them.
Yes.
Well, is that bad luck, or
it could
something
be.
else? I guess we'll.
I don't. If it's true that they were feeling all this pressure to go to market, then I think that Uber could be very easily blamed for this. But if not, and I hope that's not true, then yeah, I'd be willing to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Sure. Well,
as foolish as that may seem in Uber's case.
Well, did you guys? This is a bit off topic, and I doubt you saw this, but are you guys familiar with Verduct, the
No.
the insane water slide that was built a few years ago at Schlitterbahn?
Whoa.
Okay, all right.
You're saying words.
Okay, I'm getting off. But this is just, I love this story, and I'll bring it up for no reason. So there is a chain of water parks. It was started in Texas, and now they're in the South, called Schlitterbahn, which is German for water park, I think, or something like that.
It wouldn't be like Schlitterbahn something road.
It's Schlitterbahn is the name of the water park. I don't know what it means, but it's German.
Okay.
German themed. And at one of their parks, they wanted to build the bonkerest water slide ever made. No joke. So they made a water slide that is insanely tall, and you come down, and then there's like a hill where you actually get some air, and then you go down the other end of it. And it was called Verduct. And I'll see if I can put a picture. VER Verduct? Oh, Verruct. VERRUCKT. And it's a young man went on it, and not to make light of the situation, but went flying out of his safety restraint and was literally decapitated. Now, this was 2 or 3 years ago. Now, that's not necessarily the interesting part of the story. It came out in a lawsuit that the family filed against the water park that no engineer was involved in the building of this water slide. And the way they tested it was just by putting sandbags down. And then when they kept flying off in dangerous ways, they tweaked the angle of the water slide. And the goal was to make a slide so crazy it would get them attention on television.
So wait, how do you build something like that without any engineers?
Exactly.
Oh,
That's, you just ask I gotta see if there was a really great summary here. Let me see if I can open this up here. The Schlitterbahn Vacation Village operations director recklessly ignored safety standards, warnings from engineers, and their own lack of experience when designing Verduct, a nearly 169-foot water slide that sent riders up a second hill at roughly 70 miles per hour. There were a number of injuries. It says here, the indictment said investigators found no records that any dynamic engineering calculations had ever been performed on Verduct. It also...
There isn't like a certification process for amusement parks or anything?
Apparently not. Apparently not. They were allowed to open this thing to the public. It was open for a few months before this accident happened.
That's crazy.
That's concerning. I don't go to a lot of water parks, but
if you did,
I'm gonna. Yeah, no one's checking to make sure it's okay.
well, do they have this for roller coasters, or I wonder if this is different for water parks?
It's you know what's funny about theme park laws? They're state by state, so I don't know how it's different in because this
Gotta
particular
get big government out of our theme parks.
well, you know this particular Schlitterbahn was in Kansas, and so I don't know what their water park rules are there. No, you are supposed to have engineers look at these kind of things, but apparently they were allowed to open it.
Wow.
And relied, quote, almost entirely on crude trial and error methods. So
To be fair, that's how I do a lot of my engineering.
Same. But
It could be easily described as crude trial and error methods.
oh no. Yeah, you're not wrong. I like to think that the stakes are lower.
Yes.
no kidding. Anyway, this Uber made me think of this, where it's like, no, just build it. It's just got to be insane, and we'll just make it crazy, and don't worry about it. Just build it.
Right. It'll be fine.
Yeah, and so Verduct, and then it has since been dismantled. So don't worry. No one else will ever ride on it again.
Won't accidentally go on that.
Yep. So
Well, good.
anyway, small digression there.
All right. Yeah, we had a lot of morbid news.
Yeah. Hey guys, come on. Let's talk about something more positive. What's in here that's good? That's making you feel good.
You know what, Shaun? I feel like you really want to talk about CDs and vinyl being back.
I wouldn't
You're
say
a CD guy.
I am a CD guy. Actually, I got to go buy more CDs. I haven't bought CDs in a while. That's the only reason I haven't bought a new car is because that's the last CD player I own is my car. So
you can get CD players. It's tough.
oh no, yeah, you got to be real picky about what cars you get. It's not
No.
a standard
I meant
option
like in your
anymore.
house.
Oh yeah, no, I could, but I don't.
Sure.
I have to get a CD player compatible with my AirPods. When that exists, then I'm like, because that's how I listen to most of my music. I don't really have good speakers in my house.
You just need one of those battery-powered headphone jack to Bluetooth converters, plug it into a Walkman, and you're good.
I do actually, in that closet over there, I have my Sony Discman from 15 years ago.
There you go.
So
You're almost there.
I think it still works. Need some batteries. No, apparently, well, this article's a little misleading. CDs and vinyl are more popular than digital downloads once again. That is technically true. Physical media brought in $1.5 billion in 2017 compared to digital downloads that fell to $1.3 billion last year. However, that is a bit misleading because more than half of the music industry's revenue came from streaming for the first time, which is different from digital downloads. Nearly 2/3 of all revenue, over $5.7 billion, came in from streaming, an increase of 43% year over year. Interestingly enough, and you guys might find this interesting, especially you, Colby, a large portion of that is subscription services like Spotify or Apple Music, but a very large growing percentage of that is what they call limited tier paid subscriptions. So things like Pandora Plus, where you're just getting rid of ads, but you're not getting a full streaming service, or the Amazon $4 a month subscription that only works on an Echo. Those represented 14% of the subscription market in 2017, up from 11% in 2016. That's worth about $600 million. That alone is bigger than vinyl.
Well, neat.
Yep, paid subscription was up 55%, and ad-supported streaming revenue was up 35%.
How much?
Yeah.
What percent up was vinyl? Do they have that?
I would have to. No, it doesn't say. It
Okay.
doesn't. This article doesn't break it down. I'd have to
I'd be curious.
find those numbers. But yeah, so there
That's
you go.
cool. Things are changing.
They are. Well,
Alright.
it's the overall revenue growth for the music industry grew for the second year in a row, bringing it to a grand total of $8.7 billion.
Great.
So
More music.
yeah. So I mean, guys, what's the future here? Is it cassette tapes? Is it vinyl and
Eight-track.
CD? Is the
I looked up what an 8-track was the other day, and it looks so cool.
you've never
That's
seen
some
an 8-track?
serious hardware. No.
I've listened to 8-track.
Wow.
They're great.
Apparently, it sounds really bad.
Oh, it's awful. It's like a shittier cassette that you can't
But
fast
it
forward and rewind.
Looks really
Oh.
cool.
This is not what I thought it was.
Me either.
Yeah, they're like
Wow.
they're like big cassettes, big giant cassettes.
Whoa.
Yeah, not it's the laser disc of its day, a very short-lived bad idea format. But
Laser disc.
yeah, man.
You remember MP3 CDs?
I still burn MP3 CDs. They play great in
Really?
my car. Yeah,
Oh wow, you got
Yeah.
a fancy car.
I do. Cutting edge. I remember, what was it? The Sony mini discs, like the little tiny
Yeah.
floppies.
Yeah.
Those were a thing for a little while. Gosh, so many bad formats. Zip discs. Now we're really getting off topic.
Yes.
100 megabytes. I remember those.
They were,
So many megabytes.
They were so thick.
Oh my god.
These are also really cool though.
Yeah. May they rest in
Such a
peace.
satisfying sound.
No, but I was going to ask you guys, is the digital download dying? Is everything is streaming the future? Or is there still a place for the individually purchased and properly owned digital song and album?
Well, okay. I think people are always going to buy music, right? Whatever form that takes. And I think people will always want to buy it physically and digitally. So I think, yes, it will always be a thing that you'll have to offer. And maybe even something like, oh, you buy the CD, you get like the digital download for free or something. To sort of take the edge off the fact that, oh, I want to support this band and give them more money. I get the liner notes and the jewel case, but I also want to be able to listen to it on my iPhone. They're like, great, well, you can have it both ways.
Yep.
And yeah, Colby wasn't here for this, I remember, because I didn't feel as bad about going on this rant. But while the music companies are making a buttload of money from these subscription services, the artists are making no money from these subscription services. So some artists, I wouldn't say a lot, I definitely know of some artists who take their music off of subscription services and just sell their music directly through like Shopify. Or only have like one song or just one of their albums up as a marketing tool.
Yeah. Well, I kind of, we've been saying forever, oh, when is Netflix going to kill the movie theater? And, when is HBO going to kill television? And it's like, I just think that you'll always have everything in a lot of different formats. I don't think that there's any one that's going to win out. I will say from a consumer standpoint, I think a subscription is the most convenient way for a consumer to access music. And I think that will forever be an advantage that will be hard to beat in physical or even in digital downloads. So I'm not surprised that digital...
I think...
Yeah.
Here's my crazy idea that I thought about for 5 seconds.
Okay. Sounds
Speaking
crazy.
of Shaun being a Twitch streamer, maybe what the subscription services should do is be like, yeah, you pay us $10 a month and you get access to the whole catalog. But you can also give us more money that goes like directly to the artist. So you could set up like a Patreon style thing, like, hey, you pay this band $5 a month and you get this extra content. You get maybe updates or something. I don't know.
Well, so you're saying
Crazy idea.
kind of like a system where, okay, I give the company $20 a month, and then I get to assign where my $20 a month goes. So I could be like,
No.
okay, I want to give this band $5 of my $20 and this band $1 of my $20.
No, because that breaks the model, right? Because Spotify's whole thing, I think, is that they look at what you listen and what all the people listen to and give money to the Maybe it doesn't break the model. I think it does though, and give money to the artist based off of how many listens they got, how
Well,
many
yeah, I mean,
track plays.
in my model, you would only be able to listen to the artist you give money to. It's not like
Oh,
some
I
people
see.
don't get no money.
Don't get no money.
Don't get no money. Don't get no Spotify money.
Yeah, but I think that defeats the point of the streaming service, right? So what I'm getting at is what's the best of both worlds, where you can use a streaming service and give money directly to the artist, and maybe it's something like Patreon. And the good thing for these streaming services is, guess what? They take a cut of those
They
subscriptions.
always do.
So
They always do.
that's my idea for Hack Week, Colby.
Okay, Hack Week is next week.
Perfect timing.
Nailed it.
Boom.
Unbelievable. Well, there you go.
I have a question. Speaking of Netflix killing the movie theater, can someone explain Movie Pass to me?
Yeah.
Two people have tried and they have not succeeded.
Okay, I can try.
John,
Movie Pass.
explain Movie Pass to
Okay,
me.
we've talked about it on the show before. MoviePass is a subscription service where you pay them now, of course, they've changed their business model a few times since they've launched, so I'm not sure what they're up to now, but at least at some point the way it worked, you give them a subscription fee. I'm not even joking about that. You give them a subscription fee every month, and in exchange for that, you get some amount of access to movie theaters. Now, at one point it was unlimited.
Some amount.
What?
Some amount.
Some amount. It wasn't limited at one point, and then it wasn't, and then it was, well, you can see some movies, but not all movies. They've kind of gone back and forth. But you get access to some amount of movie theater access. At one point, it was they would reimburse you the money, and then at one point, they were mailing you tickets. Like, this isn't even a joke. They kept changing it. But anyway, you pay a fee, and you get a certain amount of access to movie theater. In exchange for that, you have to tell the company all sorts of demographic information about you and what movies you're going to see. And then at one point, they were tracking the GPS on your phone to know what you were doing before and after going to theater. Yes, and that was how their business model worked. Was they believed your data they could sell to other people for more money than what they were paying you to go see the movies. Does that make sense?
What you are paying them to go see the movies.
Yes, exactly. Your subscription fee and the value of your data would outweigh whatever cost it was for the movie tickets.
Right. Okay. Do we know what the cost of one of these subscriptions is? $10 a month? That's bananas.
That's less than one movie ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I don't understand your beef.
I just, well, if it was $20 a month, I can't imagine going to see one movie a month. Or two. I can't imagine going to see 2 movies a month. That would be a gargantuan amount of movies. I guess if it's only one, that makes more sense. And then there was all this, like, you had to do it, like, really far in advance, or you couldn't, like, do it in advance at all. You had to do it day of, or something.
Yeah, no, there are all kinds of rules. You're absolutely right.
I think Movie Pass is going to be what kills the movie theater, because this business model is super unsustainable. But if people can go see a movie for $7 that would normally cost them $15, they're only going to do that. And then all the movie theaters are going to be dependent on Movie Pass. It's going to be bad times.
Yeah, I don't think this is a good idea at all. I am not pro their business model. I like the idea of an unlimited movie pass. Like Cinemark, the movie chain, they have a service through them that if you use their app and buy tickets, it's like $7 a month, and you get 2 free tickets and discounted concessions, and you can get a discounted ticket for your friend, and you get all sorts of perks and stuff for paying them a subscription. Like, that makes a little more sense to me. This whole business model seems very convoluted.
Yes, I agree.
So, did that answer your question, Dan?
Yes, thank you for explaining it to me.
No problem. I probably did a better job than they've ever done. Yeah, let's see how we're doing
Maybe
on
they'll
time.
give you a job, Shaun.
That's a dream come true. I'm sure they'll still be in business in a year. We can do one more story if we want, or we can move on to picks. We're already 45 minutes in.
We got to talk about what Apple's going to announce tomorrow.
Yeah, in classic Don't panic. Good timing. Apple's having an event tomorrow, and we will cover it next Monday. As usual. If I had remembered, I would have suggested we do the show tomorrow night, and I just totally forgot because it's not like a big deal. This is like one of their rare mini events. It is actually taking place at Lane Technical College Prep High School in Chicago, and it is their education event, which they haven't done since 2012. It is expected that they will roll out a cheaper iPad that has appeal to the education market. It may also have an updated, cheaper Apple Pencil and new software for the classroom, including an update to iBooks. Now, according to this article, Google's operating systems on Chromebooks or Android tablets held 60% of the education market, and Windows PCs had 22% of the market. So, Apple just being 17%.
Dang, we're a little behind.
They sure are, and so this will be a big deal. There's also a new, cheaper MacBook, also apparently in the works, though it may not be announced next week, but rather later in June.
That doesn't sound too exciting.
No, it probably won't be. This is more of a, to me, this is more of a PR event than it is a product announcement. You know, Apple's making good. They'll do a lot of like, oh, look at this skeleton you can rotate in 3D on the iPad and see where the lungs are, like kind of, you know, their usual demos.
You can practically feel the learning.
Dude, that does sound like an Apple commercial. Feel the learning.
Right. With cool music and
bright
like
colors,
the silhouettes and stuff.
Feel the learning. Apple.
Yeah, I would be excited for new actual iPads. But I don't know if those are coming.
I've read
iPads with Face ID.
Yeah, I've read June, and I've heard Face ID.
Ugh.
So. You know,
June.
yeah,
June.
yeah. No, this is all the cheaper stuff. This will be all discount stuff. I am interested in a discount Apple Pencil. I think $100 is kind of. I mean, I know why it's $100, but I also don't know if your average person needs all the features of an Apple Pencil.
I would be very surprised if they had a discount Apple Pencil. What features would they take away from it?
What features does it have?
It's super precise.
Okay, well, they can make it less precise.
Which sort of defeats the
I mean,
point.
but Dan, these are like third graders. How precise of a pencil do they need?
Listen, you Apple's all about the budding artists, you know. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna.
But schools can't afford $100 pencils. They just can't.
This is true.
No. I think Apple should just discount it for schools.
Well, they certainly have the money to. They could.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe I feel like the Apple Pencil in its current iteration is like not. You can't give that to like school children and not lose the little like gadgets that just fall off it.
Gadgets.
Yeah.
Say nubbin. I like gadgets though.
The caps and nubbins and
so you're talking
the
about
tips.
The Apple crayon.
Yeah.
Why? No, I'm not saying like I'm not saying children can't be responsible for like a nice-ish thing, but like this thing is like I can barely keep track of these things, and I'm the only person who uses mine. Like, think of this in a classroom setting where it's like something that is taken out of and put back into storage like multiple times a day. Like, all those important bits are just going to be gone.
Oh my God. Do you think Apple would be insane enough to have a built-in stylus like Android devices that you just pop out? Come on. Do it, Apple. Do it. You won't.
No. I think, I think the crayon is an interesting idea because then it doesn't need to be precise because it's bigger. Right?
That's true. I mean, maybe that's what it is. It's like a less, I don't know. I don't know what utility there is in Apple making a less, like, electronic-y, fancy stylus. I don't know.
have a $7 stylus that I love, and it's not as good as the Apple Pencil. Let me make that crystal clear.
Sure, but it also never runs out of battery, I'm sure.
No, I never. No nubbins to lose. No lightning ports to plug into.
I use my Apple Pencil infrequently enough that like the battery is always dead when I want to use it. So like I have to like be expecting to use it and then plug it in and then like use it later. Not that it doesn't take a long time to charge, but like still some like.
I think Apple could make like a cool. This is gonna sound stupid, but Fisher-priced iPad. You know, like a durable as hell, classic, colorful, like old school Apple colorful.
Like the rainbow IMAX kind of thing.
Right, like a rubberized iPad.
That could
waterproof.
Be cool.
I think that could actually turn out pretty well. Yeah, but unlike it doesn't have to be for if they're hitting this market, it doesn't have to be for adults. I think a glass-backed iPad would be a total disaster, right? Aluminum is better. But even like the glass screen is sort of I don't know. I think it's asking a lot.
But I think
these things are going to be in unideal environments.
But I
hostile
think part of the issue. So I'm just trying to think. We talked about getting the Apple Pencil cheaper. I mean, how do you get the iPad cheaper, right? And I think the only way they get away with doing that, and we've seen this with all the as the old iPhones get sort of retired out of commission, they get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper until they don't exist anymore. And the reason they can get cheaper is because they've been making them so long, all the material is set and the supply chain is set, and they've gotten the cost down where it's affordable enough. I think a redesigned iPad sort of defeats that. I would expect this to just be an older model iPad with a better processor in it that costs some pennies to make because they've been making it for 5 years. Like, for them to retool the entire iPad, I can't imagine they could sell that at a cheaper price, even with cheaper materials. That would be my theory.
Apple can sell it at whatever price it wants to, right?
True.
But yes, I agree that history has shown that they would like to make money off of everything they sell. I don't think, though, that if their goal is to capture the education market, selling an iPad Air 2 is not going to do it.
Yeah. I feel like there are like design constraints for that. For a classroom environment that the current iPads just like don't.
That no iPad has ever accommodated.
Right.
I agree with that. with that. I think it'll be an interesting announcement. To me, the biggest issue Apple has, frankly, is not the hardware. I don't think the hardware is the problem. Because I think if schools really wanted iPads, they'd get iPads. The problem is Google and Chrome have very good cloud services attached to them. And they have Gmail and Google Docs and Drive and all these sorts of things. And Apple has some loose equivalent of those that is not as well defined or thought out as Google's are. And I think that's what schools like, even more so than the hardware, because when it comes to Google's hardware, not great hardware. I mean, they're just buying whatever off-the-shelf Acer Chromebooks cost $150 a piece, and then they throw them away every year because the kids destroy them.
Right. And then the all their stuff is in the cloud services. So like it doesn't matter that you throw away the Chromebooks when they get destroyed. It because it's not on the Chromebook. Yeah, I mean, that's probably true.
People who are making these decisions are the IT administrators of these schools, and they want whatever's easiest for them to manage. And frankly, I don't even know. Google's got all sorts of tools to manage user accounts. I don't even know how you do it with Apple. I'm sure there is a way, but I just think that's what. For me to sit here as somebody who shouldn't have an opinion on this, but I have one anyway, for them to impress me at tomorrow's event, it's not about the hardware. It's about the software, and it's about what tools and what services are they offering these schools that will make them say, wow, you've made our students' lives easier, and not just shinier and cooler.
Right.
I think you're right about that, Shaun. I think you're right.
But we will see the events tomorrow. I don't know if they're doing a big...
They're not live streaming it.
No, so you read the article. You know what? Just don't read anything about it until next Monday, and then just listen to the show.
We can do a live reveal on the air.
Yes, exactly. It'll be like when...
And if we convince everyone else not to read about it until next Monday, too, it'll be no spoilers for everybody.
Full media blackout, mute Twitter, don't read anything, and we'll have the full scoop next week, we promise.
You'll be in your cabin.
Yeah, yes, no screens, just... you and nature. Oh my God, there's so many weird cabins in the woods on Airbnb, but that's another story.
There are also so many great cabins in the woods on Airbnb.
That's true. I can't disagree with that. All right, we're going to move on to the picks part of the show, the part where we each bring something we want to share with the world. And I'm at the top of the list, so I suppose I will go first. And I'm going to do a mini pick in front of my regular pick. I saw The Shape of Water this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. People should go see that.
Yeah?
Amazing.
I heard it was really weird.
Oh, it is weird in all the ways I liked.
What were like what? Okay,
Like-
interesting.
Like, really great acting from really great actors, which isn't weird, but I like that. It had this like hyper stylized 1960s-ness to it that I was a big fan of. Just like the art direction of it was really great. The music was really good throughout. The score was excellent. The makeup was really good. Doug Jones was great as the fish man.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Highly recommend. It's probably got to be one of the weirdest Best Picture winners ever. It's got to be up there because it is. You watch that and you're gonna be like, I don't know why that won the Best Picture, but it's a great movie. So anyway, that's my mini pick. Go see The Shape of Water. For my actual pick this week, you may remember a couple weeks ago, Colby was talking about his robot vacuum and talking about it, and I said, gosh, you know what'd be fun? Maybe I should get a robot vacuum. And I mistakenly follow the Wirecutters Deals Twitter account, which has cost me a lot of money over the years. And one of their picks went on sale, and I bought it. I'm not allowed to have pets in my apartment, so I did the next best thing. I bought a robot vacuum cleaner, the Eufy RoboVac.
Aw, Eufy.
Eufy. When my brother came over to my house, and he's like, what is that? I'm like, it's a robot vacuum cleaner. He's like, is it a Roomba? I'm like, no, it's not a Roomba. It's a Eufy.
How dare you?
And he's like, what the hell's a Eufy? And I said, don't ask. It's not worth it. So the Eufy is the Wirecutters sort of God damn it, they just updated their pick. Like literally 3 days ago, and they changed it, and it's not their pick anymore.
Oh,
man.
no.
They just pulled the rug out from under you, Shaun.
Every damn time.
You gotta get the new one now.
Is
Can
he
you still
gay?
return your Eufy?
I'm gonna have to look into that. That's
Aw,
really
poor
upsetting.
Eufy.
Anyway,
We still love you, Eufy.
well, I was going to talk about the Eufy. The Eufy's fine. The Eufy's a fine robot. It's a bit more of a discounted robot, although I spent I spent about half of what it's on Amazon for at the moment, so don't pay full price. But what's weird about the Eufy is the Eufy does not vacuum in straight lines. It has the most erratic. I thought it was broken at first. It didn't make any sense, and it still doesn't because I think there are spots it just doesn't vacuum. And it makes my carpet have all these weird track marks all over them and all zigzag. It looks like a drunk person vacuumed my house.
That's kind of what the Roomba does too.
But it does a pretty good job. It knocked over my dining room chairs a couple times, which I'm shocked it was powerful enough to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
And a lot of torque.
It gets stuck a bunch. But for the most part, it does a pretty adequate job. So it's kind of like a half pick, I guess. I wouldn't say run out and buy one. But if you don't want to pay full Roomba prices, it's a fine vacuum. You probably should just get their new pick. The biggest problem with the Eufy is it has no smart features. You just turn it on and off, so you can't control where it goes. It's got no Wi-Fi. It barely has a timer. So it is the bare bonesiest.
Yeah. That's what the Roomba I have doesn't have. It's not connected. It just has a button, and you can set a timer somehow, which I've never done.
Yeah.
I still find it convenient enough to just like press the button and like let it go when I leave the house or something.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it does. I mean, you guys have been to my place. I've got decent square footage on my first floor, and it does a pretty good job of covering all of it. So it is nice. I like having a robot vacuum cleaner. Is the Eufy the right one for you? I don't know. But I guess I'm picking robot vacuum cleaners in general. The Eufy is but one of them. So there you go. That is my pick. Dan, how about you?
Yeah. I finished the Expanse book last weekend, the new Expanse book, so I needed a new book to read. And this one had been sitting in my to-do list for a while, so I picked it up because it is now a major motion picture movie, Annihilation. Shaun, if you liked weird movies, you might like this. This is a really weird book. I guess it's science fiction. I guess it's not too much of a spoiler to give away the premise. The premise is that there's like this area somewhere, I guess it's Earth, although it's not really clear. And weird things happen there. So they send expeditions over into this area to try to figure out what's going on, but very few people return. When they do return, they like lose their minds. So this book covers one of these expeditions trip into Area X, and what happens to them, and like these. It's just like a very symbolic and very cerebral book. It's not a lot of like, and then the monster came around the corner and we fired a bunch of bullets and nothing happened. And it's like, and then I found a picture of this person and I didn't recognize who they were. And like it's more like it's like science fiction symbolic mystery stuff. Like what does all of this mean? What is the meaning behind this scene? Is the question you have to keep asking yourself. So I really liked it. It's actually a pretty short read. I don't know how many pages it is, but I was able to read it in like half a day, and I got pretty into it. So check out Annihilation. There's another book that I'm starting to read now, and there's a third book. And I'll try to go see the movie. Maybe I'll get a $7 movie pass and check it out.
There you go. Yeah, it was. I know the movie was well reviewed, so very neat. Annihilation. We'll have a link to that on the website, as we do with all the picks. We were looking. It's funny too. We were looking for a fiction book to read for the Up for Debate book club. So maybe I said we should go to Dan. He's a tastemaker. He knows. He'll set us up.
If a movie's already been made, I really don't think I can take the title of tastemaker for this one.
Fair enough. Colby, do you have a pick for us this week? Okay. That's fine.
I looked on my Amazon history. I haven't bought anything in like a month and a half. It's been a month and a half since I ordered something from Amazon, which is crazy.
That's probably
I feel like I have so much money. I'm not gonna have money because I owe money to the government, but like,
you got any like articles of clothing or food?
Any local hotspots that maybe
hotspot
fans in Boston could check out?
No, I did watch Silicon Valley's back on. I watched that last night with Emily. It was good. It was funny.
I haven't watched it yet. It's good. We're back.
I think so. It's like we were discussing or sort of lamenting the loss of what's the main character's name?
T.J. Miller's character.
No, the other guy.
I don't know.
Oh, the first season guy? No, who are
the
you?
guy with the red hair. The guy in
what?
The guy who's like the CEO of the company. T.J. Miller's early
red hair,
or maybe he doesn't have red hair. He has like curly hair. He's like the guy the whole show's about.
Thomas Middleditch?
Yeah, but like his character's name.
I don't know. Jared. Frank.
No, that's
Frank.
Dinesh. It's Dinesh.
No, Dinesh is a different one.
No.
I don't know. Like in the earlier seasons, he was like sort of did dumb things and was like kind of like naive and like idealistic, and like now he still does dumb things, but he's kind of like a shark.
He kind of became a bit of like a dick, like unlikable. He became last season. He became. I couldn't agree more.
That's exactly.
It was upsetting.
Yes.
Yeah, he became a bad guy.
Oh, real time updates. It's Richard Hendricks. That's
the
character.
So memorable. We named literally every other character.
No, we didn't name anything.
And by the way, I don't know if you stay tuned after Silicon Valley. I'm sure you didn't watch live. But they premiered Bill Hader's new show, Barry. Have you seen the promotions for this one?
Oh, I've seen the ads. Yeah, I haven't.
Where he plays a hitman who decides to become an actor. But it's like You've been warned. It is like 60% serious, 40% comedy. Like, it's not a straight comedy. You've been warned.
That's too bad.
But it's very good. I watched it
Okay.
and I enjoyed it.
Is there one episode's out?
Yeah.
All right.
But it's just, don't be surprised. It's got a bit of an unusual tone, but not in a bad way, I would say. And Bill Hader's excellent in it, so that might be something to check out. Great. Well, Silicon Valley, check it out. It's back. It's back. Sweet. Yeah, HBO's got a lot of stuff coming out. So that's a good time to be an HBO subscriber.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We've done it. Another one in the can. We're finished. Thanks, folks, for joining us. Of course, our website is don'tpanic.io. These guys built it, so do them a favor and go check it out. It's got all of our episodes, the audio, the video, the pics will all be linked there. And, of course, information on where you can subscribe, anywhere you have podcasts, Overcast, iTunes, any of the major players, we're there. You can also get the video version on YouTube at youtube.com/don'tpanicshow. Of course, you can get in contact with us at Don't Panic Show on Twitter. It's a great place to follow us to know when we go live Monday nights. And via email, don'tpanicshow@gmail.com. I will, as always, quickly plug the other programs we do, including Game Nights, where we're playing Dungeons & Dragons. We just published a new episode this past weekend, where you can listen to us very awkwardly climb over some rocks and fall into a river. You've been warned. It goes about as well as you would think.
Oh dear.
So not great.
I'm
and
so
the episode
excited
after
for
that.
the one after that.
Oh man, that's gonna be a bonkers one. That's gonna be a good fight. We got a lot of good stuff coming up on Game Nights because we're a couple hours ahead. You've been warned. It's getting very good. So check that out at GameNights.tv and of course UpForDebate.tv. The podcast Matt and I do, where this coming week we're going to wrap up our soups and salads bracket. We talked about it a bit on this show last week. We've come down to our final two: Caesar salad versus minestrone soup. You can actually vote right now on our Twitter page at twitter.com/UpForDebateTV on your favorite. And this week we're going to announce the winner of that. So you can check that out at UpForDebate.tv. That wraps it up for this episode. We'll be back next Monday with, I'm sure, tons of exciting stuff from the Apple announcement and whatever other tech news happens between now and then. But until then, I'm Shaun. They are Colby and Dan. Thanks, everybody, so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time for more tech news and good times here on Don't Panic.